In today's Stompy 51 miniature adventure, we're going to be talking about my Orc Blood Bowl team. One from the garage. Because who doesn't like Orcs? The finesse, the poise. I actually picked them up about a decade ago and did a little video, and here they are in their pristine resin goodness. You can see bits and pieces of the conversions I was starting to do, although here I think I hadn't put on too many different bits. These were straight up the ones I got from what then was Necrom miniatures, but I think now you'd get them from Comixininos, who I assume are in Spain, or rather you would get it from Comixininos if you weren't in Britain, where the kind of toy soldier trade with Europe just seems to have collapsed flat on its back, because no one really understands all the rules around extra Royal Mail admin charges, huge postal costs, and some kind of additional import duties. But on we go. Let's start with the Black Orc blockers. There are 4 of them, as you can see over here. The bodies are all Necrom miniatures. These 2 heads were from Titan Forge. They're not identical, but they do kind of look it. Little emblems on the side. A few orky glyphs. That one's a dice. I mean, I painted these ages ago. Maybe almost 10 years ago. But I'm pleased with how the white came out. I think it's just an astronomic and grey type base mixed in with a bit of white, then increasingly mixed with white. And these are just 2 straight up heads from the Necrom series. Oh, look, that's got a chip already. You can see the underlying resin. Oh well, that's just gagging for a bit of a splosh of chainmail. And we've got some standard linemen, which I don't know what the case is now in Blood Bowl 2020, but certainly back in the day you didn't want too many of these guys. And these show the limitations to some degree of conversions. That's a Warhammer 40k Orc knob head, and as you can see it's a little bit too big. But you know, some people have big heads. And that's a head from a Warhammer Fantasy Orc battalion box. I think the dude that stands on the chariot. And that's a standard Necrom helmet. I chose orange and Prussian blue because at the time they were just colours that never seemed to get used, which often is part of my decision-making process. The stars of the show, 4 Orc blitzers, all Necrom bodies, but the Titan Forge heads, and the snarling teeth, sheer determination. The green, I believe, one of the darker Games Workshop green shades, mixed in with human flesh, and a teensy bit of white for highlights. The shoulder pad there, I think from one of the Orc bosses from the fantasy range, plastic. The usual, you know, whatever bits I had going. And I messed up a bit in that anyone holding a ball, the convention Blood Bowl is supposed to be a thrower. But anyway, whoopsie. On the subject of which, here is a thrower. With again an Orc knob head, but this one a bit more plausible. Unfortunately, you can see the effects of something that I've done too often around the mouth, where I think if you drop in a little bit too much matte varnish into the water, when you give it a varnish, it kind of congeals in pools in places that are unhelpful, or if you leave it for 2 or 3 days. But I don't do that anymore. And to be fair, is it noticeable in the dark when you're playing in a pub? Not really. And if I could be bothered, I would get a bit of some kind of wash, black wash, and just drop it in the gap. Some stone trolls, whose paint scheme I based off the two-tone camouflage of a great white shark. That guy's not even Blood Bowl troll, but indeed from Fantasy Battles. If I were feeling mercenary, I'd put him up on eBay. They seem to go for about 20 to 30 quid each. But he has a lot of character, and I might actually rejig him. Spruce him up a bit with a bit of a paint, and then just add him to one of my fantasy armies. But I'm not in desperate need of trolls at the moment. I have quite a few. And then that's a star player who I painted a bit more recently than him. You can tell the difference in terms of learning curve. I painted him thinking of kind of a great white shark, mixing a bit of purple with a bit of grey for the darker outer skin colour, the two-tone colour, and then the tum-tum and the inner arms being me adding a lot of white and light blue. And he's come across quite successfully. It's always great fun giving them all a bit of a squint, because humans get squints, of course, but luckily these days we have corrective surgery. But who's going to give corrective surgery to a troll? That's an elastic band. I'm not sure what it's doing around him, because it's obvious he's a star player. Anyway, might as well leave it there for entertainment. And we've got 3 little gobbos. A Kev Adams gobbo picking his nose. A Sylvain gobbo going, grrr, I'm gonna get you. And we're all really scared. And then Bomber Dribblesnot. I think this is the same model that I used in the 90s when I was at school playing Blood Bowl. Spruced up a few times over the years. And that says bomb, just so it's really obvious what he's holding, which I always found quite entertaining. I mean, what else could it be? So I guess that's enough about orcs. And what else have I been doing recently? I painted a few gladiators the other day for Jugular. I bought a half-broken Nightmare Miniatures Old Hammer Goblin Wolf Chariot on eBay with half the bits missing. We'll see what comes of that. I've been playing a few games of Sharp Practice by Two Fat Lardies, a Napoleonic kind of skirmish war game with my mate's painted miniatures which he bought off eBay, which I've been having great fun with. I sold a whole load of old Blood Bowl figures, literally 3 or 4 unpainted teams on eBay, and decided to diversify into Armada by Mantic, a kind of naval game not unlike Man of War from Games Workshop back in the day. And of course I bought Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, Age of Darkness box set with more plastic than it'll take me a year to assemble. But who knows, I will get there one day. Beaky Marines for the win and embracing my teenage years. But I think for now, it's time to say goodbye to this stompy miniature adventure. And I hope to see you all soon. Please do subscribe. It's great fun to see the number of people slowly creeping forward to see what else comes out of the garage or my humble and crazed and distracted hobby mind. Have a good evening or good day wherever you are.